Good morning. I'm Investigator Joe Baez, and I'll be Master of Ceremonies for this morning's press conference. Thank you so much for coming this morning, and we'd like to invite everyone who came by to discuss some of the important strides that were made this year with regards to overdose deaths. But before we do that, we'd like to go ahead and recognize some of our special guests. The Honorable Mayor of the City of Laredo, Dr. Victor Trevino, and we'd also like to welcome Mrs. Rosa Marquez de Trevino. We'd like to go ahead and also recognize from the DEA, ASAC Robert Kennedy. Laredo Police Chief Miguel Rodriguez, Jr. Webb County Sheriff, the Honorable Martin Cuellar. And the District Attorney for Webb and Zapata, the Honorable Isidro Alanis. Thank you so much. And first, we'd like to ask Mayor Dr. Trevino to come and say a few words.
Thank you. Yes, sir.
Good morning, everyone. Dr. Victor Trevino, Mayor for the City of Laredo. I'm happy to be here. There, it went out. Let's turn it on. There we go.
No, it's good.
There we go. There we go. Okay. Happy to be here. Inform the progress that is being made in lowering the deaths to fentanyl, which we're doing great strides. I hosted several border mayors yesterday in a summit to discuss the challenges that we mutually have. This is one of the major concerns that impacts all of our communities. All of our communities. Okay, battery's gone. This is especially known when we know that fentanyl use is rampant across the country. I also have shared these thoughts with our Mexican counterparts because they are also negatively impacted by the production of these deadly drugs in their communities. But in the end, this is a mutual enemy for all of us. So this is the progress, and this progress is due to team effort. And I want to thank all the law enforcement agencies and the collaboration involved to get us to this point. I also want to thank the Health and Utilities Department of the City of Laredo, as we're one of the few cities with wastewater testing capacity or capability, which lets us know what drugs are being used in our community so that we can incorporate campaigns as part of the process in educating our youth. Overall, these figures are inspiring, and I look forward to the day when we have not any fentanyl-related deaths to report, as we're doing up to now. So as mayor, I congratulate all the hard work and all the agencies involved, and look forward to continued work in this area. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. Now we'd like to ask for a representative from the DEA, ASAC Robert Kennedy.
So good morning, everyone. I guess I won't use the mic today. Good morning, everyone. First of all, I'd like to thank the Mayor of Laredo, all of our law enforcement, our prosecutors, who have worked tirelessly as being partners in our DEA Overdose Drug Task Force. I want to start by saying that the DEA Overdose Drug Task Force is the best in the country. And I don't say that just because of me making it as an opinion. It is nationally known. This is a group that has been nationally known through DEA, through National HIDA, through ORS, which is another portion that deals with public health, as the mayor said about the wastewater treatment. This is a phenomenal group, and DEA's effort to establish multi-agency overdose drug task force actually began when we did our One Pill Can Kill campaign, and we realized that we needed to have a 360-degree approach to how we do enforcement and work together with our communities in order to come up with a plan to actually hold fentanyl dealers legally liable for what they're doing. So the DEA Overdose Task Force, they are comprised of Webb County District Attorney, Laredo Police Department, Webb County Sheriff's Office, U.S. Border Patrol, HSI, U.S. Attorney's Office, and of course DEA. This decrease that we've had in fentanyl overdoses is attributed to these organizations. These organizations have made great strides in working together, finding enforcement loopholes, closing gaps where it comes to communication, and doing every effort to make sure that we go out and arrest people. That's from the federal side and from the state side. Laredo PD, Webb County, they've seen phenomenal numbers. This year alone, we've had a 47% decrease in fentanyl overdose deaths. That's extremely high past the national average. And that is contributed to the work and hard work of this community. And when I talk about the community, it's a collaboration. Some people say it takes a village. In this case, it takes a city. And this city is Laredo, Webb County, the whole county area, in which you have public health workers, you have grassroots organizations, you have prosecutors, you have law enforcement, all coming together to do a collaborative effort to make sure that we are able to remove these problems that we have with fentanyl distributors throughout the Laredo area. And I just want to say thank you to everyone. And our work is not over. We still have to keep continuing the fight, because it just takes one move and we're back where we're at again. So keeping the pressure on fentanyl dealers, keeping the pressure on the cartels, keeping the pressures on all of these individuals who are trying to harm our community is of utmost importance to DEA and also to the people that are sitting here who have been collaboratively working with us in the multi-agency task force. And with that, I thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Kennedy. And now we'd like to go ahead and ask the Honorable Sheriff of Webb County, Mr. Martin Cuerno. Please see if you were Sheriff.
Thank you very much. First of all, thank you, Mayor. Ms. Mayor, thank you very much for coming. Mr. DA, thank you. Chief, thank you for the invite to your house. I went to go see the RTC Center, it's great. And Mr. DEA, Mr. Robert, thank you very much, and all your staff for doing a great job. You know, working together, I've always said that we do the best. And working together, we're gonna do what's good for Webb County. I can say and speak about some of the stats that we've had. You know, we in 2023, we had 6 deaths. In 24, we had 3. So we in the county, right? So we've had less, you know, 50% less, you know, because that contributes to all the work that all the agencies do. And then I thank the City of Laredo, Webb County, for doing a great job. And of course, DEA. Can't leave my friend Robert Kennedy, you know, behind. You know, and we thank you, and I don't know what you're talking about keeping, you know, the friendship with all the agencies, and we thank you. And I remember when you first came to my office, and, you know, thank you for that. So again, Webb County is decreasing all around, and that is because of all the work that these people do. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Sheriff. And now we'd like to ask our District Attorney for both Webb and Zapata County, the Honorable Isidro Alaniz, to come and say a few words. Sir.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone. I don't think there's anyone here that has not been impacted by fentanyl or death-related fentanyls here in our community. One of the things that we know in law enforcement is that fentanyl does not discriminate. It could impact all walks of life, all social, economic levels, young people in their teens, people in their 20s, and people up to 40s, and 50s. How does this get into the hands of our friends and our family and people that we know? Well, it's sold on the streets. It's smuggled over here, and it's become one of the most popular drugs to mix with some of the other drugs that are in communities. I want to commend the work that all of the agencies that are here with the leadership of DEA in forming this task force more than a year ago. My office participates by assigning an assistant district attorney, having my members that are task force agents with DEA in targeting those persons that are in our colonias, in our neighborhoods, in our streets, that are on social media, that are selling these drugs to our community. Imagine your loved one or a friend or somebody you know being found unconscious, barely breathing. You know, one of the hardest things for me as a prosecutor is when meeting with the agents and they're showing me these videos of that, of course, phones are utilized now in so many crimes, right? And the phones are a great way to get evidence. But to see the videos of persons that are barely breathing and losing their life or have already passed, you know, life that unnecessarily is succumbing to this pandemic, this crime. So we identify these targets and we work together to figure out the most effective way to get them off the streets. And I think that's why we're seeing this big decrease, is because we've been able to identify some of the key persons in our community, get them arrested, get them prosecuted, put in prison, and the numbers go down. And not every major fentanyl dealer is able to, we can get them on a murder case, but there's other charges that they may be able to face. These criminals engage in all sorts of crimes, right? So working with law enforcement and looking at other ways to incarcerate them is also a strategy. But we've had great success. I'll tell you the case of Juan Antonio Montes, sentenced to 20 years to serve on 5 different drug charges, including fentanyl dealings, and 10 years to serve on a robbery charge. He was a major public enemy. Earlier this month, Melanie Ashley Villarreal, also sentenced to 10 years for fentanyl possession, somebody who was distributing this dangerous drug here in our community. We filed motions to revoke bonds on prolific fentanyl dealers that are awaiting trial. And we're also looking at other cases to be able to charge fentanyl-related murders. Thanks to the state legislature, we are now equipped with the possibility of making a fentanyl dealer responsible for the death of a person. So the teamwork, cooperation, having the right people have made Webb County a leader in the country in being able to make this dramatic and impressive reduction in overdoses in Webb County. Again, I want to congratulate the leadership. Thank you to everybody here. We appreciate being part of this team, and our mission is all the same, keeping Laredo safe. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. And now we'd like to ask the Chief for the Laredo Police Department, Chief Mike Rodriguez, come say a few words.
Good morning. I'm going to give you a little bit of statistics as to compare it to last year to this year. Just a little bit of visibility for everybody. Last year we were at 67 overdose deaths. Compared to this last year, we went down to a total of 34 deaths. That's a significant decrease when you look at numbers. You know, we talk about percentage, but what paints a better picture is numbers, right? So we're talking about 67 all the way down to 34. That's a big decrease. And I do want to thank our partners here today, Mr. Robert Kennedy, Sheriff Martin Cuellar, my friend Chilo Lanís, our greatest supporter right now in the city is our mayor, and it's this relationships that take us where we're at right now. It's this relationships, this friendship that we have, that we make things happen. We can follow, every law, and we can follow every strategy and every objective throughout the year, but it's the relationships that count. But I also want to give kudos to all our teams out there, our DEA teams and our task force that are out there day in and day out. Our Crimes Against Persons division, that when they get to the scene, they automatically say, is this an overdose, yes or no? And then it triggers that process into getting our DEA response team to get there. And so our task force officers that are day in and day out communicating with this administration and our partners in what they have going on with them. So is this commitment that has gotten us here. And I'm truly appreciative to every agency that is here today supporting this. But I do want to say a big shout out also to our City Health Department Director, Richard Chamberlain, who was very, very much involved in the public awareness and public education part of it. I do want to give a big shout out also for our fire department that was giving Narcans left and right. We even have vending machines with Narcan across the city. That helps. Our dispatchers, when somebody calls and it's in a state of emergency that somebody's dying in their hands, how to make sure that they give Narcan to that person, it starts from there. And so all these components is where we're at now. And so it gives me great pleasure also to the year to date, this month itself. Last year we were at 6 deaths. This year we're at 1. And we're still investigating that. We already gave that to our DA response team, and we can make sure that we continue this progress that we have till now. So that's very good news year to date. We're gonna continue monitoring that. But we talked about this with our leadership in the city and our management team. We also talked amongst us in law enforcement. How can we get to 0, right? It's gonna continue to make investments in our teams. And this is where I'm gonna announce today that we are sending an additional 4 task force officers from Laredo PD to the DEA task force. And we're also adding an additional team from the Laredo Police Department to make it a tactical narcotics team and a street level narcotics team. So that in itself is a big investment to attack the drug problem. We are a border community. We're a vulnerable community when it comes to drugs because the drugs are just right next door. So again, it's going to continue this commitment, this investment that we're going to have to continue doing to these units to make sure that we get down to our main objective and our dream to make it to 0 deaths. So far, those statistics are continue to go down, and I'm very proud to say it's all because our teams that are out there day in and day out, sometimes they go out at 2 o'clock in the morning, sometimes at 4 o'clock in the morning, and they respond. So thank you to them. I do want to mention some of the achievements that resulted because of the diligent efforts of these investigations of this task force. I'm going to mention a couple of names that already have been prosecuted federally. Daniel Rodriguez, arrested on January 3rd, 2023, federally charged with possession with intent to distribute over 50 grams of methamphetamine, sentenced to 30 years. Rene Melendez, also Title 21, 841B1C, manufacture, distribute, control substance causing death or serious bodily injury. This is still pending. He's already been arrested. There's another Ramiro Dominguez was arrested in January 2024. He was sentenced to 4 years. He was charged with manufacturing, delivery of controlled substance and had a possession of 5 grams of fentanyl. Kevin Raudel Ramirez, indicted as well for manufacturing, distribute, controlled substance causing death and serious bodily injury. Jose Antonio Carlos III, sentenced to 20 years, also indicted for Title 21, manufacture, distribute, controlled substance causing death. This is just a couple of the people that have already been federally indicted, and some of them have already been sentenced. And you see the sentences that they carry. It's pretty much a 20-year to 30-year sentence. I also want to mention that our district attorney that's here with us present today has been instrumental in what we've been doing throughout last year, I'm sorry. And some of this stuff, he just gave a little bit of what happens, but some of the cases that cannot go federally, our district attorney takes it through state. And I think that that's very important because it keeps the bad element away. Regardless if it's on a federal charge or a state charge, we still work together in making sure that we have that bad guy put away. So again, a lot of great things are happening because of this DEA overdose task force, this collaboration that we have. And I also want to mention that we continue to be also a safe city, not because of the efforts that have been put forth across the board with certain agencies, but also this type of crime. When we look at this type of crime and we put people away for this, it shows in the numbers and the reductions of less burglary of vehicles, less auto thefts, less violent crimes, because this bad element is put in jail. So it does trigger certain things, and I'm very proud of the work that we've done, and we continue to do it for the safety of our community. Thank you.
Thank you so much for coming this morning. This concludes our press conference. Appreciate your time.